been my pleasure to go and change the world.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, our keynote speaker for the 2022 Pan-African Women's Conference, Ibokun Awosika. Another round of applause for her. So many nuggets of wisdom to pick from that address. We will give the opportunity for people to ask questions. So if you have a question for Ibokun, you can do that. We'll just take a few questions. Again, for those joining virtually as well, if you have a question, you can send it in the chat box. Our team will pick it up, and then we can throw it to Ibokun. So does anyone have a question that they would like to ask Ibokun? Don't be shy. I'll come around with the microphone. So you can raise your hand. Okay, here we go. Our first question.
Good evening. My name is Flora. First, thank you so much for hosting us. And thank you so much to the keynote speaker. It's been most insightful. I feel like I can recite your whole talk. My question is to tap a little bit into your pearls of wisdom. You spoke quite a bit about speaking up in a roof full of opportunities on behalf of other women. And I'd like to know from you how you've previously gone about formal sponsorships for women in the past, and if you're doing it currently, how you're going about it, so that we can learn a little bit from that. Thank you.
Because really, sometimes it's not that the men are against the women, it's that they know more men who are qualified for the positions before them than the women they know. And therefore, you always go to your comfort zone. You speak about what you know and who you know. So men tend to sponsor men because those are the people who are their friends, those are the relationships they have, those are the people in their network, those are the people that they recommend. Now, what we don't do, because first and foremost, we don't have enough of us. If you're in a boardroom where there are 10 men and 2 women, that means there are 10 voices to speak for God knows how many men, and there are only 2 voices to speak for God knows how many women. Now, what you have to do is, first and foremost, create a habit of knowing. I get approached a lot by people who say, oh, you know, I'm interested in this. I always say to people, send me your CV. What do I do with this CV? I take it in. I talk to you, I have a sense of you, I have a sense of your strengths, I have a sense of what you are able to do. Why? Because I also want to make sure that I'm fair to whoever is asking me for a recommendation. And so when I get to a place where someone is required for a particular position or for a particular representation, in my library of people that I've met, that I've taken the time to try to know who they are, how they think, where their strengths are. And I've taken the time, if I've seen their CV, to take the knowledge in. I bring their name up. I send their CV in, and sometimes I follow up, depending on what the setup is or what the circumstance is. It's really important that for every woman that has an opportunity to be sitting somewhere, that you understand that I am not comfortable being a minority. I do not want to remain a minority. I just hosted a conference in Dubai in March, the International Women Leadership Conference. And we're almost 500 women from across the world, multiple African countries, multiple cities in Europe, multiple cities in America, as far as the Caribbean.
We apologize for the technical difficulties. Hopefully we'll be able to get Mrs. Awosika back online shortly. But in the meantime, just a reminder that our hashtag is UnstoppableW. UnstoppableW. If you have a question that you'd like to send in, you can use that hashtag, okay? UnstoppableW.
Recording in progress.
We were missing opportunities because we hadn't bothered to connect with a goal. And I decided I wanted to close that gap. And that was one of the things that led to the conference. And it was amazing to see these smart, brilliant, amazing women from across the continent, all working together, learning about each other, and different generations. We had from those in their late 20s to our oldest delegate was 78. And I know that we walked out of that conference after 3 days with power that can be used to change the lives of many women. And so I make it my second day job to recommend women that I know are competent and qualified for anything whenever I've asked. So we need to take interest in other people, learn about them. So when people ask you, even if you're not sure who to recommend at that point, don't pass up the opportunity. Say to them, you know what, send me a profile of the kind of person you're looking for. And then call within your own network and say, look, I have this opportunity open. Do you have anyone you want to recommend? My friends and I do it all the time. And we will sit down and consider, and by the time we finish, we've considered all the opportunities. We decide on who. And then whoever that person is that we decide, most likely will get that seat, I guarantee you. So if we want to compete, we have to strategically create the power that allows us to. Otherwise, we'll always be outplayed. It's that simple. And it's about every girl who sits anywhere. If you're ordinary, if you're sitting as human HR manager in a company, you're powerful because you're involved in the process of employing, you're involved in the process of posting people within organizations, you're involved in taking critical decisions, yet you could think, oh, I'm not the MD, I'm not the ED, I'm not this. But the things you know could make a lot of difference to positioning people for opportunities. But you must first have a mindset that knows that the girls are behind. I want girls that are qualified and competent and capable to get the right opportunities. If you set up an interview panel that is 4 men and no women, and you ask men and women to compete, you've put the women at a disadvantage. Not because the men are against them, but honestly, you're more drawn to your type one way or the other. The girl has to perform extraordinarily better to shine in that room. Because there's some things some perspective she might come with that is gender-based, and they just might not be able to relate to it. So we need to be a lot more strategic, and we must all be inclusive in this agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Awosikalo. We have a couple of questions that have come in from social media. Angela Jan wants to know, how can one build confidence while working with an intimidating boss? How can one build confidence while working with an intimidating boss? That question is from Angela Jan.
Okay, I think one of the things you do is to find the courage to confront the boss. Whether you go in your shy nature or you feel, just find the courage to walk through that door and tell the boss, I'm sorry, sir. I enjoy it. I want to build a career here, but the way you speak to me or the way you approach me and all of that makes it difficult for me to comfortably do my work. I feel intimidated by your approach. Sometimes you just need to take the bull by the horn. With all respect, not disrespect. With all respect, you express yourself, because sometimes this person might not realize just how much they are intimidating by their nature or their approach. And if you're not sure about, or you feel you're not able to do it by yourself, look around the office. See who is an influencer in that person's life in the office. Go to that person and ask for the person's help and say, look, the way my boss operates it intimidates me and makes it difficult for me to do my work. I like my work, and I want to work with a better environment and be able to deliver better value for my boss. Can you please speak to him on my behalf? Sometimes they have a blind spot to how they do things. That's one option you can. But on the other hand, you might just find the total environment on not positive for you as a person to thrive. And when you know you're in a place where you cannot thrive,
All right, once again, apologies for the interruptions and the technical difficulties. That was actually the time that we had for questions anyway. So again, thank you to Mrs. Ibukun Awosika for being our keynote speaker for the 2022 Pan-African Women's Conference, powered by Access W in partnership with ScaleUp Africa. And thanks to those of you who sent in questions on social media as well. We appreciate you. And please, stay tuned because we've got more panel discussions coming up where you can still send in questions for some of our panelists. Now, does everyone have a cocktail? You know, we're going into a long weekend, so just take it that this is your entry into the long holiday weekend. Mrs. Awosika is back. Okay, I think we can briefly round up with you, Mrs. Awosika. We can quickly round up with your response.
Oh, I thought I finished after this speech. Okay. I did say that, you know, ask for help or confront the boss or write a letter. If you write a letter, you're able to choose your words carefully. If you think one word is wrong, you correct the word and you write the right letter to make the boss understand exactly what it is. And finally, if you think the environment isn't conducive for you or constructive for your growth, then maybe it's time to move on. But always be careful because you never know what you'll meet down the line as well. So, okay? All right. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you so much. A huge round of applause for our keynote speaker. We sincerely appreciate you taking the time to be our keynote speaker for the conference this year. All right, now for some conversations that involve cocktails. So, as I was asking before, how many of you have your cocktails in front of you? I don't see many at all, actually. But we're segueing into a section of the program we like to call cocktails and conversations. Cocktails and conversations. Does everyone at least have a beverage? Then maybe at least you can sip and listen at the same time. If you don't have something to drink, please alert someone so we can get you a beverage, all right, as you listen to what our next panelists have in store for you. So let's kick off our heels for a bit. We know it's been a long working day, long working week. We're looking forward to a nice long weekend, holiday weekend. Banks will be closed, I'm sure. So those of you in the banking industry are smiling. Those of us in the media are not, because we have to work regardless. Whether it's a holiday or not, we have to be on air. But I'm going to hand over at this juncture to the moderator for the cocktails and the conversations portion of our program. Claudia Lumo is the founder and CEO of Collage Media, producers of the Glitz Africa magazine and the annual Ghana Women of the Year honors, also Glitz Africa Fashion Week and the Glitz Style Awards. She's a strong advocate for women and children's protection, and she served as the UNFPA Goodwill Ambassador to Ghana for the past 5 years. Under the Collage Media wing is the Glitz Africa Foundation, which caters to the less privileged in society. She's a mother, an icon, a respectable figure in the corporate sector, and she's received several accolades to her credit. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our moderator for Cocktails and Conversations, Claudia Lumo.
Hello. How are we doing? Everybody that knows me know I'm not good. I don't like being in the frontline, as you say. I'm always behind the technical decks, but Matilda just did this to me. So, I really enjoyed our keynote speaker and our men in here. Can I talk to our ladies a little bit? Women, can we just say that we are unstoppable? Can I hear it? Can I hear it with all the energy and power that we are unstoppable? And are we breaking the bias? Are we doing it? Are we in the process of doing it? Are we owning it? Auntie Ibani said everything. She said, what is your goal? Go after them. These are things that we hear all the time. But are we really doing it? Or we are being shoved here and there by the man? I'm sorry, MD. Okay, so I'm looking forward to this section. I think Access Bank has done an amazing thing giving us this platform, and we have amazing speakers that we are going to talk to and have a really great conversation with them. I have my cocktail, so I'll try and sip whilst you're walking here. I do have here with me the beautiful actress and entrepreneur, Roslyn Nzig. Can you please join me? Ingisa. Beautiful. Thank you for joining me so I'm not lonely on the stage. And I will get you a cocktail as well. You left yours. And I think we are going to have on our screens two ladies to join us as well. If I can introduce them. Oh, we have you. Thank you for joining us. So we have Mishi Ade. Mishi, can you wave so they know it's you? Mishi, can you hear us? Great. So this is Mishi. And then we have Irene Ochem. I hope I didn't butcher your surname. Forgive me. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. So Irene, maybe let me start with you quickly. So you are in both corporate, you are also an entrepreneur, and you've worked in international organizations in Europe, in Africa, and you're already a woman breaking barriers, Irene. You are. Congratulations on everything you've done. But can you share with us how this journey to the top has been for you? Just briefly, just encourage all of us how this journey has been for you.
Thank you so very much, and thank you for having me, Access Bank, in this celebration of women. Can you hear me, please? Hello?
Yeah, Irene, we can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
So if you can hear me, all right, okay, good. I was saying thank you so very much. I'm Irene Ochem. I'm speaking to you. I'm a Nigerian, but I'm speaking to you from Cape Town. It's all getting into entrepreneurship. Actually, in Africa, I'm the founder and the CEO of Africa Women Innovation and Entrepreneurship Forum, which works to close. But before 5 years, I was working in Europe.
Just bear with us. Technology.
Before coming back, I saw it all, you know. Yes, I saw it all, gaps in gender bias in pay, in gender pay, okay? Encountered that, discrimination in career advancement, because of course, like our keynote speaker said, and as we all know, at the highest leadership levels, at least during my time, and it's still like that, is full of men, and they know themselves, so they don't know the women. So you always have to work that extra hard, to be able to achieve what you need to achieve. And but what has helped me during that time before entrepreneurship was what I would say my nature. I grew up as a little girl of being the only girl child with 4 brothers. And when that happens to you, as a little girl, I learned to defend myself. I learned to use my voice. At the beginning, my brothers were irritated about it, but then they learned to love it and support me for it. Okay? So as a little girl, I was assertive, what you call assertive. I'm still a very assertive. The women, corporate and in the work environment, when you are assertive, you are, kind of bold, whatever, all the positive descriptions. But for women, for us, you are described as aggressive. But you don't let that stop you. You need to stand up for what you deserve and what you merit, and that is what it has been. It's about being resilient. It's about being persistent. It's about being consistent in what you're doing. It's about showing that you are capable, but you must believe, first of all, in that your capability, your ability to do, and then be confident about it. And when you need to be assertive, when you need to use your voice, you need to do that. As in the corporate sector, as a woman, you also face the discrimination of simply being a mother, okay? Because you are juggling the duty, being a mother, being a wife, and working on your career. I'll give you an instance before I stop. I'll give you an instance of many years ago. I was in a meeting with my colleagues and our boss, our managing director, and the PA of our managing director knocked on the door, walked into the boardroom, and said, Irene, you have a phone call. And the boss, very, very irritated, said, can't it wait? And the PA said, no, there is her daughter on the phone and she is crying. It was my 12-year-old daughter. Apparently, she was calling my office. My office was locked because I was in the meeting and nobody was answering. And then the call went to the switchboard, went to the receptionist. So the receptionist, who knew that I was in the meeting in the MD's office, called the MD's PA to say, tell Irene that her daughter is on the phone and that she is crying. So when I heard that my daughter was on the phone and crying, what I did was I told everybody, I'm sorry, I need to leave, I have to go. And he was irritated about it. He didn't like it, but I stood my ground and I walked out of the office and went out to take the call. So as a woman, but you need to be courageous like I was. I didn't care. What is it? I don't know if you're still hearing me because I see my network is not working so very well.
Okay. I'm trying to see if she's back. Okay. Irene, thank you so much. I think everybody that's a mother in this room can relate to what you just said. I think at some point, every mother in this room, in corporate or working for yourself, we've have experienced this, that you are in something and you get a call and you have to run. My team will tell you that I always say that the 2 people that I dread their phone call and I shake like I don't know whether it's a cat or chicken or whatever it is when I see a phone call from my kid's school or my nanny. is like my whole body. I don't know what the call is going to say, and I'll drop everything. So I think most of us who are mothers can relate to what you did, and no wonder your organization is also, when I look at the name for your organization, it says African Women Innovation and Entrepreneurship Forum. So I can relate to all of that. I mean, the passion with which you speak with and what you stand for is really great. Rosalind, you're here with me. I will come to you before I come back to Miss Irene. I read online that you said in one of your interviews that you, when you started acting, you lost some role because you believe it was because you were plus size?
A lot of roles.
Wow. Can
Yes.
you tell me about it, how that feeling was? Because you're successful, madam. You are winning.
Thank
So
you.
tell me.
Thank you. First, I would like to applaud Access Bank on this W initiative, to support women. I think it's a laudable thing, and we really need to push it. And coming here, I even now understand maybe their concept behind a web series titled All Walks of Life, which is on YouTube, their channel, Access Bank GH, because in one of our scenes, we had a lot of women being supported. I think the story actually revolved around women in small-scale businesses and being supported by Access Bank. So, Access Bank, well done. And I'd also like to say thank you for believing in my craft and making me a part of all walks of life, regardless of my size. Yeah, because they actually were looking for value and who could do the job and not size. Thank you. So back to what you said. Yes, that has been a challenge, and it was actually before I became who I am today. There are a lot of roles I believed I could play and even play better than whoever was playing. But the next thing you hear is, oh, she's too big. She can't play sexy. We need a slim person to play sexy. Okay, let's put her as a lawyer. I'm like, okay, so all lawyers are plus sizes? Like, I get this thing of always being in professional roles, and they go like, oh, Rosalind, you do better in such roles. Sometimes you even come across costumiers who tell you, we can't get your size. I'm like, really? But the thing is, we tell stories, and stories are about what happens in life. And in life, we have all sorts of people. We have tall, we have short, we have plus size, we have slim. I bet if movie making was just for slim people, then they might as well just market for slim people to buy. I even have a problem with some fabric companies when they're selling their fabrics and doing promo, and they use only slim people for their promo. Because we, the plus size, we buy more fabrics to sew for our size. That's it. So a slim lady wants to use 2 yards. I here want to use 2 yards for this. I'll use 6, and that's more money for you. Yes. So, I mean, generally, we've had it. They tell me straight. Some people tell it straight into my face, and it's quite discouraging to tell you to lose weight. And I'm asking, okay, I'm not saying don't stay healthy. There's a difference between staying healthy. Yeah, so if you feel your weight is posing, a threat to your health, definitely you need to lose some weight. But if that is what is actually stopping me or being a barrier, to the goals and my dreams, then I need to work on it. I need to do something. So at a point, okay, if you give me the lawyer role, I will play. If you give me the doctor role, I will play. You understand? And then I'm like, why can't I play sexy? Do you know a lot of plus size women who are damn sexy? Like, really? Why are you saying this? Just give me a chance and let me prove to you that I could be. Yes, and I'm like, there are some men who even have good taste for plus size women. So why are we making the story look like, it has to be this particular kind of person? But in the end, God being so good, I never gave up. I'm not a kind of person who gives up, no. I'm not at all, because of my background, my training, my mom, my dad never, ever taught me to give up. So I never gave up. At a point, I worked with the banking field. I did my national service, and then at a point, I was employed for a year, and then I left. But when I came back into the movie industry, I realized that no matter what, I still had to upgrade and better my craft. And so in so doing, years later, there was a story that actually needed a plus size. So now they looked around, and who is plus here? It was Rosalind. So if I had gone to lose a lot of weight, I'm sure I wouldn't have gotten that role. And that role, the movie was titled Foreplay, and we all saw what Foreplay did in Ghana. And after that, I had a lot of awards for that particular role. Best actress, everywhere I go, Rosalind, you know. And at that point now, the same producers who wouldn't want to cast you because you're plus would now want to cast you because you've added value to yourself. Okay, now Rosalind is marketable, so we can use her. So even if the story doesn't accommodate her, we need to write a particular scene or a character that will need Rosalind in it. And that's just it for me. So that's it.
Thank you for that. I think when Auntie Ibedun was talking, she's mentioned even something that, you know, there are a lot of women or young girls following. And I'm a firm believer in that wherever God places you, whatever door you're going inside, it's important that we make sure that we keep that door open. We pave it for people. And I think you have done that for especially plus size women. Because now you've made it possible that, you know, you can be plus size. As she said, it's a matter of being healthy. And if you're healthy at that size, and that's how, you know, you're going to stay true to yourself and to your talent. And I really admire you for that, you've done. Mishi Ade, you are the CEO for Jetstream Africa. If I can come to you briefly, I think for you, you are in a male-dominated industry. And I don't know how you did it. A lot of us, we want to hear from you how you are in a tech industry, an industry that I'm sure, you know, you will probably sit in a room with, you're probably the 1% of women in the room, you know. So how did you overcome all these challenges? How did you do this? Share with us. Let's learn from you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can now. Thank you.
Oh, wonderful. Okay. Well, thank you so much for the question. I mean, I think the interesting feature of being an entrepreneur in any field really is often you're taking a contrarian viewpoint. So there are all of these established businesses in the market and a certain way of doing things where you're coming into the market with a different perspective and you're building value that's really based on long-term success and short-term sacrifices. And I think that's something that women understand just intuitively. And we understand that sometimes the short-term investments don't yield fruit, but long-term we see the payoff. And that has been my experience with Jetstream. So when I first started, there were a lot of men who I was going to raise funds who just had so many questions about why a woman would be building not just a tech business, but a logistics technology business. But I knew that myself and my co-founder had insight into the market and into that they didn't have. So we were able to find a community of investors, including women, who believed in our story years ago. Since then, we've been able to reach almost 1,000 business customers. We've raised many millions of dollars, and we've generated many millions of dollars in revenue as well. But at the very, very outset, we had to sort of take a bet on ourselves. And as a woman, I find that many times the psychology that undermines us is the psychology that we've accepted from the outside world. So if we say that we have an aspiration to build a business that can affect thousands of people, someone may come to us and say, well, that hasn't been done before. So I don't believe that you can do it. In a male-dominated space is managing your own psychology It's to say, you know what, I will be my first cheerleader and I will wait until others come to the game. And for me and my partner, who happens to be a man, that worked well. I also want to say that when you're building a team in the entrepreneurial space, it's important to look not just at gender, but to look at people who are outsiders generally. If you see my team, which is now 50 people, we have people who come from families where their parents are farmers and didn't complete secondary school. We have people who've come to the company from countries where they had to move as a refugee into Ghana. We have people who have come from very different walks of life. And the thing that sort of binds us together is we're sort of all outsiders. So as a woman, I very much see myself as having empathy for people who have lived to some degree on the margins in their lives and are used to looking in to what's happening in the mainstream with a different perspective. And I think that mindset, this idea that I'm not alone, because the thing that makes me different is actually something that links me, that connects me to other people who are different as well. And I think that's an asset. That's an important psychology to have as an entrepreneur.
Thank you very much. I think we're allowed to ask 2 questions. So please, if we have a question from the crowd. But thank you so much, Michi. I mean, what you've shared with us, I would say this is being unstoppable, right? This is what we call breaking the bias. I mean, with everything you're doing and raising funds, very inspirational journey and story. But if we can wrap it up quickly with 2 questions, these are women that you can't reach. Access Bank is making it possible for us to reach them. So please, let's try and maybe 2 people quickly who want to ask questions, and we can wrap it up. Okay. So I think we will take our final words from our speakers quickly, maybe 15 seconds. You have transitioned into entrepreneurship as well. So maybe briefly wrap that up with how that is going and your last words, please.
Okay, I would say nothing good comes easy. Yes, I started my shuttle business during the COVID period because then there was nothing to do. You know, we can't act with nose mask. So, and I'm like, okay, I'm virtually spending all my money and the cinemas are still locked. And I mean, that's the first point of sale. So I decided to start making shuttle. It wasn't easy, I might say, because I needed a particular kind of taste that would, you know, make everyone excited. So, and then I have a brand to protect. So I didn't want anyone to say, yeah, go to a Rosalind shuttle, no, it doesn't taste good. So I put in a lot of energy, and I'm someone who is very organized if you get close. So I got a professional chef with the help of my family and a few friends. I taught the chef how I wanted my shuttle to be. So if I'm not around, they do it exactly how it is because he supervises them and he knows that my recipes are, you know, something I'm very, very concerned about. And then my friends too, in as much as I promote my business with my brand, my colleagues also supported me a lot. Anytime they taste the shuttle, they post. And it's called Rosalind's Guy Shuttle. Yes. I actually brought some, so if anyone wants to taste, I have it. And I'm selling it for a cool 55 Ghana cedis.
Good.
So,
I like that your friends were helping you. Your friends were helping you. I like that. That's what we call having your tribe.
Of course, yes.
As, you know, Madam said. So
that's they actually really helped me without taking a penny, you know.
Yeah,
yes.
Fantastic.
So I had those people to support me. And then my management. Ike Emo is here. He's my manager. He believes in pushing women to as well. And they have a way of scheduling my meetings, scripts, sets. So I think in the end, it was tough, but with the organization and planning, everything went well. You understand?
Well done.
Yes. And then one more thing I must say, with the first question you asked, do you know after everything a director called me and was like, Rosalind, I want you to play the role of a soldier.
Oh,
And I'm
no
like,
plus size women can be soldiers.
I'm like, really? So at
Well
that point, I'm
done.
like, wow.
Well
And
done.
head of all the soldiers, that's head. I'm like, how am I going to run? And when they say action, we're supposed to run and hold the guns. I did what I had to do. And then you come across, men shying away from us because we're actresses, we're in the main light. I mean, our society is just...
Thank you. I know how you feel, and want to share. Thank you very much.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Let me leave
thank
that
you.
for another time.
Thank you. So,
All right.
if we can have Irene. No, okay. So, thank you very much, Rosalind. Thank you, Irene. Thank you, Mishi. You are all extremely powerful women, and your words have encouraged us today. I have taken something home, and I believe all of us are taking something home. We are going to pick our own tribe. We are going to make sure we are unstoppable. We are going to make sure we are breaking the bias. And thank you all for being here. Thank you. My name is Claudia Lumo.
Hi, my name is Aisha Ayensu. I'm a mother of 3 young kids and the founder and creative director of Christy Brown, which is a Ghanaian-based luxury brand for women. On a day-to-day basis, my job is to lead our stellar team towards achieving our goals within the year and also developing all the ideas and concepts that you see and love, which come out in the beautiful clothes that we sell. I was introduced to Access W when I was asked, honorably, to be one of the ambassadors for Access W when the initiative started off in Ghana about 6 years ago. Christy Brown has been a customer of the bank for many years. And so it was such an honor when I was asked to be one of the, maiden ambassadors for the W initiative. What benefits women? And they authentically show that they are committed to seeing us succeed and seeing us thrive and win our different endeavors. It was such a great honor and a privilege to be a part of the community. The W initiative, on the other hand, is such an inspiring platform, we find. When Christy Brown turned 10 years old, we called on Access Bank to support us on our quest to empower women in the Polygonal area, which is where our workshop is located, to offer skills development training, to just teach them a skill so they are employable. And specifically, the W initiative rose to the occasion. They did not disappoint, and they supported us all through this project. To all my women out there, if you didn't know about the W initiative, this is a time for you to research them, go on their website, because it's filled with so much resource. They've painstakingly taken time to curate articles that inspire. They have all these programs and projects that they undertake on. There's the business clinics, there are workshops that are all geared at helping women or empowering women to just show up and perform at their absolute best. I will highly recommend this W community to you.
Inspiring, connecting, empowering.
Glowing testimonials about Access W. And let's say thank you once again to Claudia Lumo for moderating our cocktails and conversations portion of the program. Also to Irene Ochem, Misha Adi, and Rosalind Gisa for being fantastic panelists. Thank you to all of you. Now, we'll be having another important conversation with more panelists, but I'd also like to read some comments that have come in from social media. Remember, our hashtag is UnstoppableW, and for those of you who are sending in your comments, we love that you are loving the program. Thank you for sending in these comments. Rosalind, you are on point. That's one that came in, and please add your name if you're sending this on a platform where we can't see your name. Your story reminds me of Oprah Winfrey's story when she decided to lose weight in order to get into acting. One day, she got a call from Steven Spielberg, who told her even if she lost 1 pound, she would not be given the role that was available. So he empowered her for that role. I can relate well, Madame Irene. Here's somebody commenting on Irene's presentation. I love your boldness. So again, thank you for those of you joining us virtually. We're so glad that you're participating wholeheartedly in the Access W Pan-African Women's Conference. Please keep the comments coming in. Hashtag unstoppable W. So on to our next panel discussion, and trust me, you're going to enjoy this one. Powerful women taking the stage now to talk to us about their journeys to success, and I'll introduce them now. Joyce Bawa Mokhtari is a member of the Ghana Bar Association. She's also a member of the African Women Lawyers Association and is a fellow of the USA International Visitor Leadership Program. She was also a former Deputy Minister of Transport from 2013 to 2017. Let's welcome her with a round of applause. Take her seat on the stage. Joyce Bawa Mokhtari, one of our panelists for our next discussion. A pleasure to see you, Joyce. Berle Jakum Ayaba is a Ghanaian female digital marketer. She's founder and CEO of Echo House Ghana Limited. Yes. She was named as part of the top 50 young CEOs in Ghana by the Y CEO and Avance Media. Let's welcome Beryl, who to also take her seat up here. Mrs. Joanna Bannerman is head of business development for for UEMOA. Now, UEMOA is the acronym, the Francophone acronym for French or Francophone West Africa. Okay. Now, she was appointed as managing director of Access Bank Zambia in November 2016, the first Ghanaian woman to hold an MD position for Access Bank. Fantastic. And she's affectionately known as Mama Jo. Let's welcome her to the stage, Mrs. Joanna Bannerman. And Pearl Nkrumah is an executive director of retail and digital banking for Access Bank Ghana. She is the first woman to hold an ED position at Access Bank Ghana. No more firsts. More firsts for us. Let's welcome her as she takes her seat on the stage. Welcome, Pearl. Now, we still have some entertainment coming up after our panel discussion, so for those joining us virtually, please do stick with us. Sinner Soul will be providing music with NBS Band. We love Sinner Soul, so please do stick and stay with us. And of course, engage, participate, send in your questions and comments for our next panel discussion. Okay, now I think I need to take my seat so we can start chatting. Yeah, let's do that. Trouble for me. Okay. All right. Let's get started. Welcome again, ladies. A round of applause for our panel. Now, our topic and our theme for our discussion is building resilience to rise and stay at the top. Building resilience to rise and stay at the top. Okay. I think we'll just have a brief discussion among ourselves, then we'll open it up so people can ask any questions they want. I'll start with you, Joyce. Now, you've spoken on several platforms and to many audiences about the importance of capacity building for women, right? And why this is key for bridging the gender gap. Can you throw more light on this? Why it's important for you to encourage women to build their capacity?
Well, thank you very much, Kokui, and of course, thank you to Access Bank for having me. A very good evening.